right, everyone, welcome back to the Heresy Hangout. This is actually not an official video. This kind of started out as a post, but then I was messing around on the computer on YouTube and I saw that it's roughly like the 1 year anniversary of the channel on YouTube. I think the we did a podcast first, so roughly a year. So then it became recording, and then I purchased myself a little green screen. So I wanted to try this out. You know what I mean? It's got a couple of bugs here. It's like, see the corners up here. So I have to crop this out, but we're trying. So, yeah. So a year's gone by. We are 7 episodes in. Episode 7 is dropped today. Um, as I said before, we always try to do 1 month, but this is just a hobby. So, we try to stick to that as much as we can. But in the beginning, it was easier because myself and RJ lived in the same location, but now he moved away. So a little harder juggling the schedules and all. But we can still keep it going, keep it moving. Try to do 1 a month, and we'll stick to that as much as I can. I want to give thanks to everyone who's been listening. I look today, we're around like 78, 79 subs. I think I lost one today, so I don't know if I offended someone. Sorry, but on YouTube, like 79 subs. And I went on to the hosting app I use for the podcast, and we got downloads from the U.S., UK, Canada, Australia, Ireland, Poland, France, Germany, Singapore, Israel, Costa Rica, a couple other ones, but that's just a lot. That's really cool. This is like a brainchild of mine to sit and talk about the books, and because I'll talk to anyone who wants to talk about it, but it's hard to find someone who wants to sit down and like really discuss it because it can, as if you're a fan of the lore, it can go for a long period of time. Um, but yeah, so thanks for listening. I mean, some people, you might laugh at like 79 subscribers, whatever, like, but it's just for fun. So I'm happy that there's, anyone listening because besides myself, I listen to my episodes, which is kind of weird, but okay, so just a little update. So I said once a month, obviously that's our goal. So January 1st today, Legion just dropped. We just put Legion out. We already recorded Battle for the Abyss, and I am editing that. So that will drop at the beginning of February. So that covers January and February. Later this week, I am traveling for work, and I will not be back to my place of residence until mid to late April. So I know February is going to happen, but you're going to have a kind of lull in between there. But I say this all the time, like, uh, if we're gone, I would come out here and say we're gone. So, obviously, I'm sorry that we can't be providing the content, but don't fret, we'll be back. I just got to go away for work for a little while. I might try to post a couple things here and there, depending on the service provider and stuff like that. But I don't think a schedule is going to allow to do full episodes. But what I am going to do is I'm bringing the next 3 books so I can read them, get them noted, and we can probably knock them out and maybe put out like 2 in 1 month or something like that. But so yeah, so if it kind of goes quiet for the next couple of months after February, don't fret. We'll be back probably in May, something like that. With that, so episode 8, which will drop next month, we did a little kind of different. I don't know if you're out there and you read book 8, Battle for the Abyss. A lot of people, it's kind of controversial. A lot of people think it's like a dud. I wouldn't say it's a dud, but it definitely feels like a filler kind of one. Like nothing really super important happens. But that's not a reason not listen. So listen, because we do some good insight. But actually, because we did something different, this is RJ's idea. So rather than going to super long detailed breakdown of every chapter and all the little nuggets of info and nuggets of goodness and all, we kind of did a more broad stroke overview of the book, and then at the end we kind of just like bullshit a little bit about 40k in general, what we think about the way that the hobby, whatever you want to call it, the hobby, the lore, the whole cornucopia, as you may say, of all that is the Warhammer universe. We kind of chatted about that. So um what I ask of you guys is, you listen to that. Um, I always ask feedback, but this is a big one because we might just kind of change a little bit of what we do. Maybe go more of that. I forget who the person was, but a couple episodes back, someone asked, "Hey, I love that you go through the books, but I really like hearing your guys' breakdown of it." So I think we did that more on episode 7, definitely, and 8 as well. But 8 kind of goes into more than just the book. We kind of talk about um the universe in general, like lore wise, pop culture wise, all this stuff. So when you watch that one, if that's something you like, hit us up in the comments section, the Heresy Hangout at Gmail. Hit us up there, anything, because we love doing this. But if you who listen don't like something about it, or you think that something will work better, said this is just funds for us. So like, I'm down for really whatever helps make it more of a better product. We'll put it that way. So what else do I have here? Geez, I should have got my glasses. Oh yeah. So with that also, would you guys want to hear different books? Like, so my goal, if it works out, time permitting, because there's a lot of books, but I was going to go through each book, boom, 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 all the way up to Siege of Terra and do all those. I know there's a lot of novellas in the way in the middle and stuff like that, but I was just going to focus on the main books, book 1 through book 54, I think, and then Siege of Terra. But if you guys would like to hear our opinions on other books, I mean, I also read the current. I've read like Dark Imperium, I read Black Legion, I read Talon of Horus, I'm reading Word Bearers Omnibus, all that stuff. So if that's something you guys would like, maybe we can like pepper that in, especially if it's short stories. So maybe we can get like a full book review once a month, and then maybe like myself alone or RJ alone can do like a little mini. I also had an idea of maybe doing like a character focus, like quick ones, not quick like shorts, but like quick, like rather than being 4 hours or 3 hours, maybe like 30 minutes to an hour, and going more into detail of a certain character in the book. The one that pops in my mind is like Garbo Loken. You know, um, I gotta play with that a little bit, because what I don't want to do is I just don't want to read 40K wiki or lexicanicum, or do what, like not to discredit anyone. Like, there's a lot of good lore people out there who do that already. So I'm not trying to jump on that train. I mean, I feel our focus is the books, but it can definitely maybe do a little side tangent to the characters in the book and go into deeper dives about them. I also don't want to spoil too much, because certain characters who we presume are dead or missing, they may pop back up later. I confirm or deny if certain characters are still around, but you might not have seen them in a while. But so um whatever you guys think, if you have any advice or comments, like let us know if the recording sucks. I do this all on my own. So if you look up here, I'm using SteamYard for free because it's like expensive. But I was playing around some stuff the other day, and I noticed a couple of the episodes are like they're a little quiet. And it's kind of too late for those because they're already out. But like, if that's something that is repeatedly happening, if you're like, hey, when I listen to a podcast, I crank my volume to 10 and I still can't hear it. Well, I have software that I edit. I can obviously, like, bump them up in general for the future. Also, so this is kind of weird, because I've always been a big like enemy, I'd say, or opponent of like AI art. But I got it for work because it really helps out with certain things. It works, and then I was just bored the other day, so I started playing around with things. So I went back, and the thumbnail on YouTube. So if you notice, all our thumbnails are the same. I just paid some guy a long time ago on Fiverr to make the Heresy Hangout. And it's cool. It looks cool, cartoony, which is what I was going for. It looks cool. I like it, like a little table. They're kind of conversing. But I was bored at night, so I was just like, let's see if this thing can pump out. So I redid um the Horus Rising cover with Chat GPT. And I've always made fun of people who call themselves what do they call prompt engineers, and I'm still not a fan of it. I paint models. I grew up as an artist. Um, so I respect and appreciate real art. But what I'm also saying is, like, I'm not a digital artist master, and this is just for funsies. You know what I mean? I'm not selling these things. I don't take credit as if I made them. But to go back to the prompt engineering, it is kind of hard because you got to like really text to it the correct way to get what you're looking for. So here's what I got here. So I just played around that, um, you know, because what I'm looking at, is like it is a hobby, but I would love to get this out to more people. So I'm researching and stuff, and a lot of it is like, grabbing the attention from the thumbnails if someone's scrolling. You who are already subscribed, I would hope that you tell your friends about it and all. But for the person who is just in the Warhammer and they're scrolling down the feed when they look up Warhammer lore or Horus Heresy, this kind of jumps out more. You know what I mean? Like, so, if you hate it and you despise it, let me know. Cause I said I've never been a big fan of AI art, but it does look kind of cool. And it's something that now that I've kind of learned how to talk to the machine, I can kind of make these kind of quick. Here's another one I made for Battle for the Abyss, which I find funny because this is like us, you know what I mean? Which is hard to do because there's like rules against like using actual likeness. So you got to kind of talk to it to like, but I think that they look cool. They're fun. Like I said, I would never claim I made these or I'm the artist or sell these at all. So I don't feel so bad because I really hate when people like claim that here's my art and it's like AI stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that at all. This is totally AI generated, but it's just for funsies. You know what I mean? Like it's just something to grab attention. But um as the listeners and all, if you like that kind of stuff, or you might not even give a shit, who cares? You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to start a war with AI because I've been on that side where I'm like calling stuff trash because I do agree that if you are trying to say that it's your art and you're just typing into the chat GPT, I don't count that. But it is kind of difficult. Not difficult. I was sitting on my couch typing. It was hard and I thought it wasn't just like, hey, make this and they make it. You kind of tweak it and also. But moving forward, I might use these because they stand out more and they're different. I'll make one. Like I said, I did the Horus Rising one, and then I did the Battle for the Abyss, and I did Legion as well. I don't have it here, but if you go to the Legion, you'll see that it's one of those. So yeah, I hope you like them. Just a little more like a little more pizzazz, I guess you say, to the channel. You said I'm not in this to try to like become a million followers, nothing like that. But the more people, I think it's just cool. Like, I spoke to RJ about it and what he thought about it. And he said it looks pretty cool. And I just want to try to grab as many eyeballs and ears as I can because I like what we do. The 78 now, 78 people, and whoever, I don't pay too much attention to the podcast. Like I saw the downloads, but I'm not sure how I can see who's subscribed. But whoever's listening, I would like more people to listen and ultimately converse. I get comments here and there, which I appreciate. I would love more. I would like some more, like, let's have a conversation. You know what I mean? Not like, hey, you know, you think the book's great, I think it sucks. Well, let's like, have a little conversation across the chat. Um, and just make it like an open forum and stuff and nerd out on things. That's really what it came down to was like, I love these books. I've loved this whole lore forever. I mean, as long as I can remember. I think I was 12 when I saw my face first Games Workshop store. It was called yeah, it was called Games Workshop. Now it's called Warhammer. It was called Games Workshop, South Street, Philadelphia. I was 12 and I fell in love with all of it. So I've been into this stuff for a long time. I love talking to people about it. um, so I would love if you guys want to engage and talk. What's some other updates? If you're a fan of what is that called? Sorry, this is bad production, but just give me a second here. Dun, 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 dun. Where are you? Oh, so if you're a fan of Lore Hammer, it's a podcast. It's pretty popular. They do a lot of lore videos. I was on that a while ago, back in I think it was like February, March timeframe, maybe January last year. But I've been in contact with Marcus, the host, and he wants to get on this show. So if you like Marcus, think he's funny, think all that stuff he does is great. He'll probably, I think we're going to try to get him on to the Mechanicum one. It could be like a guest spot, or it could be like all three of us doing our thing, going through the whole book. It's kind of like what he's comfortable with. I mean, I know he does long form, so maybe he wants to he get on the whole time. You know what I mean? So that's kind of cool. Yeah, I think that's it. So you'll see us. You saw us January today, January 1st. You'll see us February. The same thing. I'll do my shorts. I'll do my video. like I said, then it's going to kind of go dark for a little bit because I'll be away from my home, which really makes it tough to record. Now, if it happens, it happens. I just highly doubt it. I'll be busy. But when I return in May, I should have three full notes, three books worth of notes. So that'll be Mechanicum. I think it's Tales of Heresy, which is short stories. That'll be our first time doing that. And I can't remember the next one, but whatever the next one is in the cycle. So yeah, I hope you guys had a good, a Merry Christmas and a good New Year. Happy holidays, whatever it is you celebrate. Hope that was all good. Had time with the family and time to, relax. And we will see you on the next episode of Heresy Hangout. Oh, yeah, I got to do my business. So, subscribe on Instagram and YouTube, and we're on all podcast apps, all that good stuff. So, all right, guys, see you around and hope to hear from you. Bye.